Welcome to 5 at 6:45. Hope you're having a great week. I wanted to read today from what is probably one of my favourite psalms. I don't know if you're allowed to have a favourite psalm, but here it is. Psalm 27, verse 4 actually. One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. So this is David. He's expressing this, and he's asking for one thing from the Lord. But it kind of breaks down into three things. So I just wanted to point those three things out. One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek. The first thing, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord. So what is dwell? Dwell is to live in. Like if we dwell in a house, we can't, that's the place that we come back to. It's the place that we rest in. It's the place where we feel comfortable. It's the place we want to spend time in. It's the place where we put a bit of effort into looking after, like we sweep the floor, we do the dishes, whatever we do to look after our place. He wanted to dwell in the house of the Lord. He wanted to be there. He wanted to hang out there. He wanted to spend time there. He felt relaxed in the house of the Lord. And then he went on to say, I want to dwell there all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord. I love that word, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord. So what does it mean to gaze? It's not just a short look at. It's to actually spend time. It suggests time. It suggests a quantity of time. It's not just a short look. A short look would be like a glimpse or a glance. This is not, I want to glance on the beauty of the Lord, or I want to just take a little glimpse, I want just to have a little bitty peek. It's not about that. This is gaze. It's time. I want to put my eyes on him and just ignore everything else and put my eyes on the beauty of the Lord. It's something that is an action that you choose to do. You actually really don't accidentally gaze at anything. You choose to do it. So David is saying he wanted to set aside time to put his eyes on the Lord and focus on him and his beauty. As I was thinking about gaze, I came up with a little acronym for gaze. You know, an acronym where you take the letter, each letter of a word, and give it a word to remind yourself of what that word means. Well, this could be possibly the tackiest acronym in the history of mankind, but here it is. Gaze, G-A-Z-E, God and zero else. So when we gaze at God and our eyes are focused on him, we're looking at him and zero else. Nothing else matters, just looking at him. David wanted to spend that time gazing at him. The third action was to seek him in his temple. And I think, okay, we know that seek means to look for, and we can get into the presence of God and we can ask him for things that we want or that we need. But I actually went to my friend the dictionary and looked at the meaning of seek. And in the dictionary it actually says there's an old, they call it archaic, but an old meaning for the word seek was actually to go to. So in the old days I used to say, I will seek my bed, which doesn't mean I've got no idea where it is, I'm going to have to search. It actually meant I will seek my bed, I will go to my bed. And so when you put that in the light of this, is I will go to him in his temple. I will go to. It's an action that we can do, David wanted to do, but we can do the same. We can actually move into his presence. He is with us anyway, but to actually choose to spend time in his presence. When David wrote this psalm, he's talking about being in the house of God and in his temple, and yet this was actually before the temple was built. So what was he talking about? He was talking about desiring the presence of God, desiring to just be with Him and to hang out with Him and to love Him and to gaze on Him and be filled with His presence. And I wanted to share that today because it can be so easy to get caught up in things around us and forget to actually choose to spend that time with God. And yet, it's an action to choose to move into His presence and to spend that time to gaze, to seek, and to dwell in the house of God. And how beautiful it is when we do that. I also would just like to read the same verse from the Passion Translation because I also like the way it puts it. It says, "Here's the one thing I crave from Yahweh," Yahweh meaning God, "the one thing I seek above all else. I want to live with Him every moment in His house, beholding the marvelous beauty of Yahweh, filled with awe, delighting in His glory and grace. I want to contemplate in His temple." Contemplate's cool. It's a cool word. It's to actually just think about, go over and over in your mind about Him and how great and mighty He is. When you look at the word beauty, beholding His beauty, I read a little bit about the word beauty. The Hebrew word for beauty, okay, I'm no Hebrew expert, so this could be completely mispronounced, don't worry, is noam. But it actually said that it's not easily conveyed by one English word. That in English we say beauty, but it could also be translated as sweetness, pleasantness, friendliness, graciousness, goodness, loveliness, splendor, or delightfulness. And that we should really take each of those terms and read the verse again and insert each of those meanings so we can gaze at His friendliness, gaze at His graciousness, gaze at His loveliness, gaze at His splendor, gaze at His delightfulness. So much to look at, so much to just enjoy being in His presence. I really hope that this week that you'll take the time to spend time just gazing at Him, dwelling with Him, seeking Him, being with Him in His presence. And I hope that you get to enjoy that and come away from maybe in-depth times with Him feeling surrounded with His love and His presence. Have a great week.